When it comes to Dragon Ball, keeping track of Goku should be simple, but it's not. Across different timelines, alternate universes, movie continuities, and literal body swaps, the franchise has introduced a wide range of characters who all look like Goku, sound like Goku, and even fight like him, but aren't actually the same person. Some are twisted versions of him, some are descendants, others are what Goku might have become under different circumstances, and a few are just imposters wearing his skin. And with so many versions scattered across the anime, GT, Super, Heroes, and the movies, it's easy for even hardcore fans to lose track. This video breaks down every major Goku variant and lookalike, from Goku Black to GT Goku, from Bardock to Goku Jr., and everything in between, explaining where each one came from, how they're different from the original Goku, and why they exist in the first place. Whether you're confused by the timelines or just want to understand how we went from Kid Kakarot to Ultra Instinct and beyond, this is the definitive breakdown of every character who shares Goku's face but walks a very different path. We start with the foundation, main timeline Goku, the version seen in Dragon Ball Z, Super, and the superhero film. This is the Goku most fans know, the Earth-raised Saiyan who evolved from a naive martial artist into a multiversal-level warrior. He's fought every major threat from Frieza to Jiren, unlocked every canon transformation, and reached divine states like Ultra Instinct. Unlike most fighters in the series, Goku doesn't chase power for dominance. He trains for the thrill, the curiosity, the pure joy of testing his limits. That simplicity and motive is what grounds his identity, even when the scale of battle leaves planets and timelines in ruins. But even within this timeline, we start seeing divisions. Ultra Instinct Goku may technically be the same person, but the transformation shifts his personality and fighting style so drastically that he functions almost like a new identity. While base Goku fights with instinct honed through years of experience, Ultra Instinct Goku fights with literal instinct, moving without thinking, emotions stripped away, focused purely on precision and control. He becomes quieter, sharper, and far more lethal in demeanor. It's not just a power-up, it's Goku stepping into a divine tier of existence, one that places him alongside angels like Whis in terms of technique, even if not raw power. In that state, he stops being the cheerful martial artist and becomes something closer to a living technique, detached, serene, and overwhelming. Now compare that to Goku Black, a character who only looks like Goku on the surface. In reality, he's Zamasu, a Supreme Kai apprentice from Universe 10, who uses the Super Dragon Balls to steal Goku's body from an alternate timeline. Despite the identical appearance, Goku Black is nothing like the real Goku. His fighting style is elegant but brutal, driven by hatred for mortals and a god complex that makes Frieza look humble. He uses a pink-bladed energy sword, creates portals and scythes, and fuses with himself through merged Zamasu, making him one of the most dangerous antagonists in the series. Goku Black is what happens when Goku's body is pushed to its absolute limit by someone with none of Goku's restraint, humility, or compassion. Same power, completely different soul. He's theatrical, twisted, and his arrogance leads him to toy with opponents instead of finishing fights. His presence forces future Trunks back into battle, causes Vegeta to lose composure, and even pushes Goku into moments of genuine anger, a rare thing. Goku Black isn't just a villain, he's a distorted reflection of what happens when power is stolen and abused under a divine justification. Then we have GT Goku, and while this is technically the same Goku from Z, the continuity and circumstances make him distinct. In Dragon Ball GT, Goku is turned back into a child by the Black Star Dragon Balls. While he retains all his memories and mentality, the change in his physical form affects how he fights and trains. His stamina is different, his reach and timing shift, and the tone of his journey becomes more mystical than tactical. He ends up unlocking Super Saiyan 4, a primal transformation that doesn't rely on divine ki, but instead draws from the original roots of Saiyan biology, the Great Ape form. Visually and tonally, SSJ4 is raw, grounded, and full of that wild power the early Z arcs carried. GT Goku is also tonally different. He's more reflective, more mythical, and ultimately exits the story by fusing with Shenron, leaving the interpretation open as to whether he died, ascended, or became something beyond mortal understanding. He battles Baby, Super 17, and the Shadow Dragons, not just villains, but embodiments of the Dragon Ball's consequences. GT Goku isn't just a depowered throwback. He's the closest thing the franchise has to a spiritual successor to the original Dragon Ball tone, while still expanding the power ceiling. He feels like a warrior nearing the end of his mythic journey. If you like this kind of content, do not forget to subscribe. And while GT shows us what Goku might become spiritually, Zeno Goku from Dragon Ball Heroes shows us what he might become tactically. Xeno Goku comes from an alternate timeline where key events like Raditz's attack and Cell's emergence play out differently, shaping him into a hardened, mission-driven warrior. He joins the Time Patrol, fights alongside Trunks and the Supreme Kai of Time, and operates outside the bounds of traditional universes. He primarily uses Super Saiyan 4, not God transformations, and wields the power pole again, a deliberate callback to classic Dragon Ball. Xeno Goku doesn't smile much, doesn't play around, and consistently handles multiversal-level threats like Demigra, Fu, and Cumber. He adapts on the fly, uses strategy mid-combat, and shows a level of authority Goku rarely displays in the main timeline. He's the version of Goku who never relaxed, never stopped being a soldier, and treats every battle like it could collapse the multiverse. He isn't bound by canon rules, and that freedom makes him more unpredictable, more brutal, and sometimes even more intelligent in his approach to combat. Then we have Superhero Goku, not a different person, but still a noticeable shift in how Goku is portrayed. In Dragon Ball Super, Superhero, the animation moves to full CGI, which gives Goku a sleeker, smoother presence. But more than that, his character feels subtly older. He's no longer the center of the world-ending threat. He's off training Broly, casually exchanging blows on Beerus's planet, while Earth faces a new crisis. His demeanor is relaxed, measured, even a little distant. There's less of the youthful recklessness, more calm calculation in the way he watches and teaches. It's as if he's stepping into that Roshi or Whis role, not as the legend on the battlefield, but as the one who creates the next legend. His design, the pacing of his movements, the maturity in his voice lines, all of it feels like Goku aging gracefully into a role beyond just fighter. It's not a new timeline or body, but it's a new phase in his evolution that makes him feel distinct from his Z and Tournament of Power incarnations. Now contrast that with Captain Ginyu Goku, which is Goku in name and face only, because the soul piloting that body couldn't be further from the real thing. During the Namek saga, Ginyu swaps bodies with Goku using his body change technique. And while Ginyu's elated at first, what follows is a complete breakdown of what happens when raw stats are separated from mastery. Ginyu can't fight like Goku. He flails in close quarters, struggles with basic energy control, and even damages the body he stole because he doesn't know how to manage its ki. It's one of the earliest and clearest lessons in Dragon Ball that strength isn't just physical. It's a culmination of instinct, timing, and internal harmony. Ginyu Goku fails not because he's weaker, but because he doesn't belong in that body. Even Vegeta mocks the performance, recognizing immediately that something's off. Ginyu Goku is proof that without Goku's heart and mind behind the power, the body alone means almost nothing. Then there's Turles, and fans always double take when they see him for the first time. He's a low-class Saiyan who looks exactly like Goku, and that's not a coincidence. Saiyans often have similar features among class types, and Turles is effectively what Goku would have been had he never lost his memory, never fallen off a cliff, and never been raised on Earth. He's a conqueror, not a protector, cold, merciless, and obsessed with getting stronger, not to test himself, but to dominate others. He uses the Tree of Might to absorb cosmic energy, boosts his power to terrifying levels, and shows zero hesitation in destroying entire ecosystems. Turles is the anti-Goku, a Saiyan in every traditional sense, ruthless, prideful, and loyal only to his own hunger for power. Unlike Vegeta, who had a redemption arc, Turles remains loyal to the Saiyan legacy of destruction. He doesn't just look like Goku, he is a walking warning sign of what Goku could have been if Earth hadn't softened him. Bardock, on the other hand, is where things get a little more complicated. He's Goku's biological father, and though they never interact in the original Z continuity, Bardock has become one of the most fleshed out and beloved Goku variants through flashbacks, TV specials, and manga expansion. He looks like Goku, fights like a soldier, and carries none of his son's naivety or kindness. Bardock is a realist. He sees death coming, calculates it, and still chooses to fight, not because he thinks he'll win, but because it's the right thing to do. He's a tragic figure, watching the annihilation of his race while doing everything he can to ensure that one Saiyan lives on. In Dragon Ball Minus and Dragon Ball Super, Broly, Bardock is reimagined slightly softer, more emotionally aware, more protective of Janae and Kakarot, but still worlds apart from the cheerful idiot savant we know as Goku. Bardock is duty-driven, hardened by war, and ultimately sacrifices everything for a future he'll never get to see. He's not a hero, not really, but he might be the reason one exists. And finally, we reach Goku Jr., the last lookalike in the timeline, seen 100 years after the events of GT. Goku Jr. is timid, reserved, and constantly doubting himself. He doesn't have the cocky confidence of his ancestors or the natural battle instincts of a born Saiyan. What he does have is Goku's heart, his kindness, his courage when it finally surfaces, and his refusal to give up when it matters. After losing his grandmother Pan, he embarks on a journey to find the 4-star Dragon Ball, not to gain power or make a wish, but simply to feel close to the family he's lost. And during that journey, faced with real danger, he taps into the Super Saiyan form. It's clumsy, it's unstable, but it's real. And it shows that the spirit of Goku, even diluted generations later, still lives on in full. Goku Jr. may never reach the heights of SSJ-4 or Ultra Instinct, but symbolically, he's the full circle moment, proof that Goku's legacy isn't tied to a power level, but to the courage passed down in his bloodline. When you lay them all out side by side, the picture becomes clear. Goku isn't just a single warrior, he's a template, a legacy, and in some timelines, a warning. Some of these versions exist because of divine interference, some because of alternate choices, and some simply because the multiverse can't seem to get enough of him. From Black to Bardock, from GT to Ginyu, every Goku lookalike tells us something different about strength, identity, morality, and what it means to carry power. And yet through all of them, only one remains the true foundation. The Goku who fought for Earth not because he was told to, but because he wanted to. The Goku who trains not for dominance, but for evolution. The Goku who turns enemies into rivals and rivals into allies. These other versions may borrow his face, but only one carries the soul that defines what Goku really is. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to see more deep dives into the chaos that is Dragon Ball's multiverse, make sure to subscribe.